What's going on, guys? So I'm gonna make this second one or whatever, and also kind of I've already done this one on my other channel, but figured I might as well do this because I got actually people wanted me to make a statement on it or whatever the fuck ever you want to call it, but it's not my place to make a statement on it. I'll just say it. This is in response to the anonymous message to Elon Musk and whatnot. I'm just gonna lay out the facts, and you guys can do whatever the fuck you want to do with it and whatnot. Um, it's a little later than I wanted it to be, but I was sleeping and shit and chilling, so whatever, it's my day off. But I also do want to say, from my point of view on it with the anonymous shit, one of the things that they do point out is that we do live in a world where people are very, I mean, I don't want to say stupid, but we can call them sheeple, I guess. They're trained that way to do that kind of shit where people will move markets based off of a tweet. And you have to understand that a lot of this shit going on in the world is rigged, like controlled. Like people who are put in place are put in place because they can be controlled. People that you see on TV or influencers and all that bullshit, the majority of them are controlled. Like most of these people fucking hate each other, or don't, or why the fuck would they? Like think about it. Normally, like you hang out with people from your job, right? Like you go into the office and you see Sally and Billy every day, and that's Sally and Billy, right? That's your world. Their world is just their manager tells them to go there and do that and do that and do that, and that's it. Because they're cashing a check. Everyone's cashing a check. But I mean, you guys remember the things like homesteading and like going out and like building a house saying like this is mine now? What happened to all that bullshit? You know what I'm saying? It's I'm not trying to get into it, but we do live in a world where people can get, shook out by dumbasses doing tweets. So I say that's one of the reasons why you have to, plan for the best, hope for the best, plan for the worst. That's why I say shit like have something to fall back on or whatever, and all that other shit. I'm not even trying to get into it, but I do think that sooner than later, we're gonna see another spike in crypto, and it's going to go higher than it was last time because that's just what it does. I mean, during this whole dip, there's all those articles coming out about how like institutional investors have bought up like 350 million bitcoins or something like that. I'm sorry, 350,000 bitcoins, or 350 million dollars worth of Bitcoin. That's what I have to say. There's only 23 million Bitcoin, so they bought up 530 million dollars worth of Bitcoin at an average price of like 35,000 Bitcoin or whatever. So already they're in the profit. It's at like 36. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there. Do you really think someone wouldn't be like, hey, Billy, tell him that since he lost in the poker game, he's got to go ahead and do that tweet. Yeah, all right, cool. If he does that, we'll cancel that bullshit and he'll get that check. I can't even go into all that. You have to just watch the video to understand some of that shit. But I will just say this from my point of view. I'm not going to play the video. I will link the video in the description. Okay. So I will say before I do that, I'll preface it. Okay. I'll finish prefacing it. So you have to understand something that when I say things like this world's an illusion and whatnot, it's like they're using shit that you don't understand to try to force you or trick you into giving up authority over certain areas of your life. I can't remember who said it, but pretty much someone said any advanced technology will look like magic to someone who's uneducated. So in one of the SpaceX Falcon, whatever the fuck launches, I remember this is a while back. I remember someone was like, wow, look at that. The light goes blue. The whole sky lights up. How is that? And I was like, it's just ionizing the air with electricity. And actually, some people tried to like call me out, and Elon Musk actually was like, no, we're actually doing that shit. And when you see the green shit, it's like the copper magnesium burning off of the space thingy. People don't understand this shit, but you can ionize air. So when you're like burning off, but this is the thing, they don't straight up tell you that they're ionizing the air. They just want you to imagine that it's blue shit, and you'll be mesmerized by it. Now, do I think he's a good or a bad person? I don't know. It's not really in my business to say. I think that when you're in certain, it's like this. They call them quorums in the Mormon church. And quorums, groups of priesthood holders, or what you want to call them, they get together and they literally have meetings and they're like, what's the best way we can further this agenda or that agenda? So you really think a bunch of billionaires wouldn't have their own quorums and have their own agendas. So I'm just saying that, that dude's got his own agenda, just like I got my own agenda, and my agenda is pretty much just got my own integrity farms. But like, I'm not I'm not moving to Colorado. Pretty much, I would prefer just to stay where it. Like, I mean, if I have to like live in Puerto Rico for 6 months to like have no taxes in crypto, and then when the winter's over, I might as well come back to where I'm already at or this area and just grow my own shit. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, it's a whole other thing. Staying on topic. I'm already babbling. It's already gone way too long. Look, check it out. I'm just gonna show you guys the shit. All right. So, do you really think that people in power would not hide this kind of technology from you? How easy this shit could be. And I've talked about this more in depth on the other one, but I'm just gonna do this now here. So, I'm gonna link the message to Elon Musk. You guys decide for yourself. But so this is that thing that I was talking about, how they used to use fermentation. These are giant batteries, and they would put in like fermentation mixtures and then a bowl, and it would create pressure through the granite, and the granite will glow. And then they had like a granite system, like all that was granite, so everything would glow. And then they had the spires, the obelisks would be what would shoot out the electricity, and you can see the whole thing there. Fermentation in pre-dynastic Egypt, and this, apparently there was a way to use sound to move giant objects, and apparently when that technology was lost, they tried to keep the sarcophagus thing going by stacking stones on it. You just gotta like read this shit. It's just gonna blow your mind. But I mean, it's pretty fucking simple. And here they're showing like, I think that would be ionization of the air. I'm not really sure. But one of the things that they point out is that there's no candles, there's no torches, there's no soot anywhere in these catacombs. It's like it was lighted from the stone. And then they go into all the shit to back it up, but whatever. So there is ancient technology based around creating electricity from just the sacrificial bull. And then this is the other thing I was talking about. Like, I mean, call me crazy, but doesn't this look like a motherfucker with like a nose implementation and like a rocket ship of some kind? I mean, he's got like an oxygen tube mask, and he's like controlling a rocket or some shit, right? And then we got this one. See, that's at an angle though, and there's like dragons up here, and like god idols and shit like that, and he's like blasting off. See, there's even like fire down here coming off, and he's in a seat. He's got pedals and shit, and he's like super focused on shit, and he's like firing photon torpedoes and all that bullshit. You're like, what the fuck is this? And you guys heard of the Dark Horse satellite? I'm not even getting into that one. It's an actual satellite that's like thousands of years old floating in space. And NASA's like, oh yeah, we've tried to study it and all that bullshit. Classified. So, I mean, really, we do live in a world where people who are already in power are going to use these secrets and technology and all that bullshit against you. And one of the oldest technologies is how to use words and influence to control people. I mean, in Dungeons and Dragons, they just call it charisma. I mean, all that bullshit. It's a will check. You have to know how to counter off that bullshit. But whatever, I babbled on too long. I'm going to go kill me some cicadas. But what I mean by that is I'm going to go to the store and just get some shopping done. And every time, there's so many cicadas right now that, dude, I'm telling you, the other fucking day, I'm just driving and one hit the side window and splattered everywhere. I was like, oh, bullshit. I'm just driving places and splat, splat, splat. Fucking cicadas just flying right into my fucking car. It's fucking crazy. One hit the rain, so clean all the cicada guts off my car. All right, peace out.